To be a real hero, you really don't need to wear a superhero suit. In this video, we want to show you ordinary people who have become everyday heroes with their selfless deeds. You can expect a teenager who helps countless people even though he himself has a very hard time, a magician who gave a man a new life, or a little girl who saved her entire family from a great misfortune. So stay tuned here at Wonderlane. We start with number 10 and a high school student from the USA who was not only in the right place at the right time, but also became a real hero through his lightning-fast actions. Hugo Benitez was working in his part-time job as a waiter in a cafe when it happened. Shortly before closing time, a guest choked on the buffet and started coughing. At first, Humberto just wanted to bring him a glass of water, but when he saw that the man was completely red-faced and the rescue attempts of a woman who had rushed over did not help, Humberto immediately understood the seriousness of the situation. Quick as a flash, he applied his knowledge from the first aid course he had taken at his school and saved the man from suffocating at the last second. He used the so-called secret grip, grabbed the man from behind, and made jerking movements until the guest's windpipe was free again. While others just stood around and didn't know what they wanted to do, Hugo Benitez became an everyday hero. Let's continue with number 9 and a really moving heroic deed that should change someone's life forever. YouTuber Magic of Rahat, who is actually known for his magic trick videos, took pity on a homeless man. Instead of just giving him some money, Rahat made it his mission to change the homeless man's life for the better. Therefore, he started a fundraising campaign and collected more than $44,000 for the poor man who lived on the street. From this money, Rahat then provided the homeless man with a house, paying the rent for a year in advance, furniture, clothes, food, and everything else needed to live. In addition, Rahat also set up a bank account for the homeless man, where he deposited the more than $21,000 left over. The YouTuber thus became a hero for a man he didn't even know before. Of course, the man couldn't believe his luck. Thanks to the YouTuber's heroic help, the former homeless man now has a real home in which he can feel comfortable. On number 8 is the proof that anyone can become a hero, even if he or she is still very young. On a Saturday morning, Amelia German, who was only 4 years old, was actually just playing in her family's apartment and running around in a little dress while listening to music. Suddenly, however, Amelia saw a, in the literal sense, fire-dangerous situation. In the kitchen, a fire had broken out at the hot air fryer, which threatened to grow quickly because no adults were around. Without thinking any further, the 4-year-old ran to her father in the bathroom. He was calmly brushing his teeth there and had no idea of the great danger. Because his little girl called him over so quickly, after a moment of shock, the father finally managed to get the hot air fryer, which was burning strongly, out of the apartment, preventing anything worse from happening. The 4-year-old Amelia became a hero that day, as she did exactly the right thing despite her fear of fire and prevented a dangerous fire in the apartment. On number 7, we continue not just with a single moving heroic deed, but with over 2,000 heroic deeds performed by just one person. More specifically, by Sebi Hall, an 18-year-old teenager from England. Sebi, who has a hard time in life himself due to physical limitations and learning difficulties, decided at the beginning of the pandemic that he wanted to help people who had it even harder than he did. Following the motto, "Every day a good deed," the teenager then began to do good for others every single day of his life. Starting with small things like watering plants or taking out trash for people who couldn't do it themselves, he also collected food donations for the food bank or donated toys to orphanages. Sebi even started a rugby team for the disabled. In order to be able to pay for all these activities, Sebi set up a donation page. With his heroic deeds, the teenager helped an incredible 2,000 people in less than 2 years. Let's continue with number 6 and a little heroic deed that required lightning-fast reflexes. New Zealander Samuel Kempf was on vacation in Barcelona and was riding Europe's fastest roller coaster when a man in one of the front cars suddenly lost his smartphone. The cell phone whizzed through the air and would definitely have shattered into thousands of pieces if it had fallen off the roller coaster, which was traveling at speeds of up to 134 kilometers per hour. But Samuel reacted with presence of mind, bent to the side, and elegantly plucked the flying smartphone out of the air. Afterwards, the New Zealander was hailed as a hero not only by the overjoyed cell phone owner, but also by millions of viewers on YouTube. After all, a smartphone is not only expensive, but for most people it also contains countless memories and pictures that would have been lost forever if it had fallen. On number 5 is a hero of a very different kind. This is the American late-night show host Jimmy Kimmel. Shortly after the birth of his 4th son, the baby was diagnosed with a heart defect and had to undergo several operations, which is why Jimmy Kimmel burst into tears during his show. Only a few months later, Kimmel brought his son to the show to draw attention to a very important issue. He called on politicians to improve healthcare for children, even if their parents are not as wealthy as he is. In the USA, there is not a good health insurance for all citizens, but only those who have a lot of money get good treatments. Jimmy Kimmel therefore called on his viewers to write en masse to politicians in order to put an end to this deplorable state of affairs. If his action is successful, the presenter will save the lives of countless people in the USA with his heroic deed. Let's continue with number 4 and an action that makes you believe in the good in people. After a dog in Kazakhstan fell into a canal and was in danger of being swept away by the floods, not only one man came to his aid, which would be moving enough in itself, instead, more and more people gradually gathered at the edge of the steep canal and, regardless of the danger that the action posed to themselves, formed a rescue chain. Although the people did not know each other before, they did not hesitate to give everything to save the life of a small dog. After a few failed attempts, these everyday heroes managed to free the dog from its predicament and pull him up the steep canal walls. Let's move on to number 3 and this man from Pakistan who risked his own life to save a baby. The man was standing on a platform when a young mother in the background saw her stroller slip away and crash onto the tracks with her baby. Although a train was already approaching at breakneck speed, the man did not hesitate and immediately jumped onto the tracks to save the baby from the worst. He actually managed to do this at the proverbial last second because the train missed the hero by a hair's breadth as he rolled back onto the platform. On number 2, you can see that there are not only human but also animal heroes. A surveillance camera in Holland caught a chicken in an enclosure being attacked by a goosehawk that swooped down from the sky. While such an attack would normally mean a death sentence for a chicken, fortunately things went quite differently here, and the chicken had its animal roommates to thank for that. Immediately after the attack, a rooster rushed to his aid, but since the rooster couldn't do much against the hawk either, a goat intervened after a short hesitation. Heroically, she defended her feathered roommate with her horns and probably gave the hawk the fright of his life. This moving heroic deed shows that animals can also have a lot of compassion. Let's move on to number 1 and a campaign that honors those who otherwise receive little attention. Every day, countless people become everyday heroes and help those in need with food and money, for example, without receiving any recognition in return. For this reason, this YouTuber also dressed up as a homeless person in New York and sat on the street with a sign asking for food. The YouTuber wanted to find out which of the passers-by would help a person in need. As expected, many people just carelessly walked past the YouTuber, but as soon as someone took pity on the seemingly homeless person and gave him a donation, he resolved the situation and in turn gave money to the helpers themselves. The YouTuber gradually distributed a total of $5,000 and rewarded those people who helped selflessly. So they were richly rewarded for their kind gestures, which are real heroic deeds for the homeless. Well, those were the 10 most moving heroic deeds in front of the camera. Write us in the comments which of the actions you found the most impressive. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Wonderlane for more interesting content every week. And until next time, here at Wonderlane.